What's going on, guys? It's Phoenix, and don't call this a comeback because this is just a one-off review thing that I'm doing. FYI, I am filming Deadlock here outside, so you have to excuse any noise, whatever that's going on in the background, because that stuff I can't really control. So, let's talk about Deadlock here, because I want to talk about him and change things up a little bit, because everybody's talking about Titan's Return right now, and I haven't seen any of those figures in my area quite yet, although they are starting to hit my state. So, Deadlock here is a Decepticon repaint of Drift with Blur's weapons. Plain and simple. For the price, I don't know that I can fully recommend him, even though he is an eHobby exclusive, in spite of his fun and playability, mainly because I don't think he is worth that price because of just the fact that he is this mold, still has the same flaws that this mold has, and the fact that he doesn't come with all of Drift's accessories too, because frankly, I think it would have been cool to, and we'll see this here in a second when I go over the guns here, to have the blades as well, so you could have those two smaller butcher knife things that Drift came with, and you can have one stored in either sheath, and then have a gun stored in the other sheath. But that's just me, I guess. But with the 60-ish bucks that you are paying for Deadlock here, you're basically paying for a premium paint job, and the paint is really nice. You got nice gold accenting on the wheels, got nice shiny gold accenting pretty much all throughout, a little bit there on the face, on the vents right there, on the crotch, on, I guess, the lower shins, and just really nicely painted throughout is this figure. Just, I don't know, spoke like Yoda there for no real reason. There's the backside. You can store the gun or the sword on his back, but I don't really choose to do that with him, as you can kind of tell. Nah. Words. Anyhow, it's pretty cool. So this is what he looks like with the sniper rifle thing. Basically just looks like a palette swap of Drift with Blur's sniper rifle. Kind of what we expected. Still pretty cool. Alright. And he also has those two smaller pistols. I'll just bring one out because they're the exact same thing and they need to be in there for transformation. So, you can also hold either one of these. Nicely molded, nicely detailed. I like them. I've always liked these little weapons with this figure, with Blur specifically. Those do combine onto the sniper rifle, as we all know, because we have Blur, little notches right there. I'm not going to show it. We know what to expect. He does also come with the sword. Pretty sure it's just the same kanji on the sword as Drift, just cast in black plastic with red paint there and on the kanji. But given the characterization in Deadlock's packing comic of kind of a bloodthirsty bounty hunter type of character, that has loose affiliations with Revenge of the Fallen, or Classics Lockdown, I guess. Because Revenge of the Fallen Lockdown is our stand-in for a proper Classics Lockdown, because we haven't gotten a proper one yet. Come on, Hasbro, what are you doing? I don't really get why this would also read Peerless Under Heaven. If anything, it should read something different, given his characterization. Which I love, by the way. If anything, if you don't even get Deadlock here, you should read that pack-in comic if there's an online version of it, because it reads really well, and it really adds a good bit of background to who Drift was before he became Drift and switched factions. Yes, Drift is kind of a Mary Sue character. That's a whole separate video. So, transformation. If you haven't already, you want to store the guns in the little sheets on either door. You want to come here, and if you can get your hand in there, flip out the window on either panel, which is a little fiddly to do. You want to bring this section down. It tabs in right there below the head. Just bring that down, untap it. Come to the legs. We're doing this horribly out of order, but whatever. These panels just rest against the gold right here on the lower shins. You just want to swing them down like so. I'll show that again better. So you want to bring this panel down on the armature like that, and have it go like that. pretty much. You can then, at this point, tab the legs together. Sorry, that's not on camera, whatever. You guys know this mold by now. I don't really care that's not on camera. And then, go ahead and rotate the shoulders up at the ball joint like this, so the front of the car faces that way. Straighten the head if you haven't already. Again, you want to bring this windshield panel back. Take the arms, fold them up so the wheel goes into the wheel well. There's a tab right there that will go into that port on the arm. Same thing on this side. Boom. And you want to bring the entire assembly for either arm, shoulder, whatever, up all the way. Take this panel on either side and fold it over and down on the little hinge assembly that is on right there to cover the head. And tab the front of the vehicle together, which is a little bit fiddly, but it usually goes together. Then bring the windshield panel back forward a little bit. And basically you just want to rest it so that these little black notches rest under the windshield. Swinging the doors down just to get them out of the way. You want to then take the entire back half of the car and fold it at the joint that's right in here. Basically about the mid-shin, if you will. And keep doing that until you can tuck the feet in underneath the windshield here. It's a little bit fiddly to do, and the doors do kind of get in the way, but it is entirely doable. It's just like I said, is a little bit fiddly. Then at this point you want to just bring the door panels up like that. And then you pretty much just do some finagling to straighten everything up. Which I have to do a little bit off camera, just because again, it's fiddly. There we go, that's what I need to do. Whatever. This is so entertaining for you guys, I'm sure. Sorry. There, it's just for some reason the leg transformation right in here has always been more fiddly and whatever than really it should be for me. And that's with all copies of this mold, not just with Deadlock here. I forgot that. Give me a second, guys. Stare at the planter that I have. This is what happens when you try and do transformations on camera, which is why I don't usually do them. I just felt like doing a review, so whatever. I know that's going to get me critiqued in the comments, but I really don't care. Cool. So, move planter out of the way. There's Deadlock in his basic vehicle mode. Really at this point the only thing that's left to do is with the clips here and here, store either his gun or the big sword underneath. Normally I store the big sword underneath just so I can keep it fairly flat and flush. But as my air conditioning kicks on inside, you can also just store the gun like that, like you could on Blur. and kind of gives him a third exhaust. So we'll go with that. Nice, big, huge swathes of purple that are exposed on Deadlock here in this mode. Really like the purple streaking and just the overall accenting of it. Really complements the Decepticon insignia. Love the gold on the grill as well. He just looks really cool in this mode. I really like him in this mode. Like I said, is he worth the $60 price point? Honestly, probably not. If you can get him for a little bit less, go for it. Hell, if you like this mold and you want to have some representation of Deadlock, basically who Drift was before he was Drift, as I've said before, then go in on it. Otherwise, this figure is probably a pass for you. Again, I just picked it up because I wanted to have some representation of that character that we knew as Deadlock, who is, technically speaking, canon. So, yeah. That, and I had the funds kicking around. And there was nothing else that I really particularly wanted. Plus, $60 for an exclusive is fairly affordable. So, yeah, or stupidly affordable in some cases. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back at some point with another video. As always, I'm Phoenix, and I'll see you in the next one.